Good morning, bikes. Welcome back to the MotoFlamingo YouTube channel, bike people of the world. If you guys watched the last video, you'll know that we've been working on this 2004 Broken Police Athena right here. And as I told you guys, on this video, we're going to be removing the front end of the bike so we can get to the forks, get the forks out, and take the forks to get redone at a shop in Central Florida. Bear with me, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup here in the garage real quick, get some of the parts that we have taken off the bike on this table into a box or something like that, because we'll be removing some other parts today, so we have a little more organization going on. Then we got to get the bike on the jack, get it off the ground, and start taking the front end apart. Let's get to it. Let's get this baby up. Try to get her up as even as possible, since she's going to be sitting on the jack here for probably a couple days, because we're still waiting on the legs to arrive, and then we got to take him in, so that'll probably take a day. We're going to run a strap with this as well. All right, so she is jacked up and she is strapped down. Time to start getting this front end taken apart. So I secured the calipers to both sides on the crash bar with some zip ties, just to get them out of the way without crashing into things and not in one hanging on the brake lines. I usually label some of the bolts and nuts that come off the bikes, because we definitely don't want missing bolts or extra bolts. So these forks have this top bolt right here, and then they have another tension bolt on the lower tree, and then they slide out. Now with the entire front end off, all we have to do is wait for the new legs to arrive. All right, so the new legs arrived, the black powder coated ones. So we are loading up the old legs in the car right now. Let me put this right here and show you guys. I don't remember if I filmed this for you guys already. So I opened them already. Give me a second. All right, here we go. That was a little harder one-handed. Here's the new ones right here. They're gonna look oh so fresh. All right, so we are at Cycle Life Motorcycle Repair. We are right on the coast in Titusville at this moment. The water is right on the next block over. So if you guys are, actually this right here is US 1. So if you guys are looking for a nice clean shop here in this area, if you are anywhere close to Titusville, right on the water, right on US 1, this shop right here. So Cycle Life Motorcycle Repair in Titusville works on a lot of Harleys. I saw a few really nice Harleys here the first time I came by to ask about the forks, but they also work on all types of bikes. All right, so we have now picked up the new forks and we are ready to start the assembly on the bike. In the meantime, we have been doing a ton of cleaning that we still have to do, and we painted some parts very well, at least until they are replaced by powder coated parts or something else that we're gonna start adding to the bike little by little. We finished cleaning up the front fender here. It has some paint missing on the top, so even though we removed some of the decals, I just added that one there for now. I believe this entire front fender is going to be getting replaced, so this is temporary right now. The bags came out a lot cleaner. Some of the decals and some of the stuff on the bags we have not been able to remove, because if we do, the bags actually have holes on them. So as this was a police bike, the department that had it drilled holes literally all over these bags, and that was for the purpose of mounting the speakers for the sirens and stuff like that from the inside. So there's a bunch of holes drilled all over these bags, and that is why somebody at some point started adding all this like bolts and decorations and decals, etc. So I believe we are going to be changing the saddlebags in the future, attempting to keep the top, which is an original police type of like lock on the top. So we'll figure that out when we get there. Excuse a little bit of the mess here. As you guys know, I have been working on this bike for the last few days, a little bit at a time, right? Not whole days, every time I get a chance to, before the owner gets here. So here are the old legs that we took off, and here are the new gloss black powder coated legs, now with the new seals, new oil, and everything fresh. Enough talking, let's get to the assembly of this bike and get these forks back on and give this bike a really good wash, which is actually needed. So after the inside of the triple trees have been cleaned out, and then the new forks with the new legs have been cleaned out and refreshed, they went on the bike super smooth. We added some brand new AMSOIL grease where the axle goes and on the axle itself. Then we moved on with the fender and then the calipers and the tire at the same time, making the right adjustments here, working our way up. This is it, we're back in business. The new forks are on, well, the new legs with the new fork seals and fluid and all that. As you guys can see, I went ahead and removed the covers, the leg covers that go here on the Roll King, for two reasons. These brand new seals up here were very tight to the leg covers that were on the bike, because those leg covers had a little bit of dents on them. Okay, so I guess the old seals were a little worn out and they were already in there. These new ones were a little tight fit, and I did not want to damage these new seals, so I took them off for now, since in the future, more than likely, we are going to find the actual powder coated ones, so we'll go with that. Number two, as you guys can see, on the street bob, I removed the rubber covers that come on the street bob, because in my opinion, those covers give the bike more of a classic look, and the look that I'm going with this bike is a little more modernized version of the street bob, or that type of look, right? So I believe that in the Roll King, this will look pretty much the same, especially if in the future you change the actual fork to a different color or a different brand, company, or whatever. So that's that. Let's get the bike down. All right, we did adjust the bars a little bit more back, and then we adjusted the controllers up, obviously. Also, you know what we do need to do now that the bike is put together again? We need to turn this baby on. It's been off for, what is it, 2-3 days now. You guys think it'll turn on? Of course it'll turn on. It's gonna turn on right away, watch. then it was time for a lot of water, a lot of degreaser, a lot of elbow grease, and a lot of soap, and this baby came out super clean. Then we dry her up with our Harley Davidson Hawk Blaster. All right, so Athena is put back together. It's done. All right, just kidding. So we have one more little problem here that I already tried to fix once, but it happened again. So you guys can see the mounting bracket for the Baja is loose. It's only being held in place by the two top screws here. The way this bracket works is it has this little thin screws, and they go into these rubber grommets that have a metal piece inside that installs to the original nacelle of the headlight of the Road King. However, when these rubber grommets become old and over time overused or whatnot over time, it seems like they start giving out pretty quick. Not sure what brand this bracket is that came with this headlight. We did not buy this headlight, it was already on the bike. The bracket seems mighty fine, but the rubber grommets seem to wear out over time. I'm sure some of you guys out there have had this issue already. Not sure how you have fixed it, if you can buy the grommets or what, but I believe I have a solution for it. Let me show you guys real quick. All right, peeps, so here's the idea. So I got this bolts at Ace Hardware. As you can see, it has a washer, it has a nut, and then it has a lock nut at the end. So the head of the bolt and the washer are behind the nacelle right here, using these bigger holes right here. Then I added a drop of red Loctite to hold it in place with the first nut. And then the bolt is going to be sticking out this way where the headlight is going to mount, and then the lock nut is gonna go on top, holding the headlight in place. I'm going to go ahead and use one here, and remove these old grommets on the top and put two more on the top, and I think we're in business. Let's give it a shot. All right, here we go. So I ended up using these other nuts instead. I had doubles on those just in case, because the self-locking nuts, I felt like they were going to be a little harder to take off. And one thing that I try to do every time I do something is try to make it repairable friendly, or should I say not just install something in a way that is super hard to take off on and on. So you want to be able to get in here and remove this headlight easier as possible to get any work done on wiring or whatever. So these nuts are gonna work better. They're gonna be easier to take off, leaving the other ones behind. I did add a drop of red Loctite on the outside as well, just due to the vibration and stuff on the bike. Guys, this came out super solid, and now these are short enough that I'll still be able to get the trim on the outside here. Let's get it done and see if everything came out super smooth. Yep, there it is. Perfect fitment there. Everything tidy up and ready to roll. Jesse, I wish that you were here to try your bike already. I know you have a few days before you get here and pick it up, but guess what? I will take it out for a ride for you, bro. Don't you worry. Let's take this baby outside. See you guys out there. Alright fam, so if you guys watch our first video on this bike, you guys know that we picked it up recently from Orlando. It is a former police Road King from 2004. We picked it up with 42,000 miles. It was a bike from a department in Central Florida. Then it went through a couple of owners that added a couple of things to the bike, including a Baker 6-speed transmission and the Baja Designs LP6 headlight in amber. This Dominator bars, although we will be changing those. And now with the new forks, the bike is riding like a dream. Guys, this is just the beginning for this bike. We just got started with it. There's a lot coming to this bike. We already have a list, we already have a plan and the direction for this build. In the meantime, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. If you guys are not new, thank you for your continued support and see you guys on the next ride.